Well, good evening, everybody. I've had a birthday, and my dear little boy, okay, not little, not boy, I've forgotten how old he is, but, do you know, I think he'll be 60 next year. So anyway, there we are. Gave me a present. It is the marble Parcour. Now, why, you may well be asking, am I not doing another video on the railway? It is progressing. It is progressing. I have done quite a lot, but not really enough to justify another video yet. Quite possibly early next week. In the meantime, I thought, well, since I'm here this evening, since I have a glass in my hand, do you know, I feel rather like Keith Floyd. I don't expect many of you remember him. Who was Keith? Yes, he was a chef. And he always had a glass of wine in his hand, but he wasn't like, who were the other two? There was a couple of them. I'll have to look that up, because I really can't remember. It's husband and wife, and the husband was invariably on the bottle. Anyway, there we are. This is a Kyala Pinotage, which was remarkably cheap, but actually quite good. So, cheers. Let's get started. This is it. I haven't opened it. I have scalpel in the hand, just in case we need any surgical endeavours or anything. Truth is, actually, I'm left-handed. I haven't ever purchased a pair of left-handed scissors, so right-handed scissors are an absolute pain in the region of the upper thigh as far as I'm concerned. And I should actually have looked at this and seen how you get in this bloody box. Alright, there it is. We're in the box. Nicely packaged, and as usual, oh my god, here we are. We have all the wooden bits, all shrink wrapped, and that looks alright. This is a wind the handle. It's not an electric one, this is a wind the handle, which is fine. You wind the handle and something happens. At the moment we don't really know what, but we will find out. So apart from that, in the box we have, oh there, what indeed have we got in the box? A piece of cardboard. That's fine. Oh right, I see. Well, this is a little cardboard box in which lots of other bits and pieces came originally, but it isn't any good now. And these are the marbles, which are quite small. Small, handy pans, pinky fingernail. You can see how small the balls are. Right, okay. So they're not actually marbles as such, although I have got marbles. These are some orange bits and pieces, which go on the end of orange bits and pieces. And here we have some shafting. Shafting? Yeah, little shafts. A long bolt, a piece of plastic tube, and a nut which obviously goes with the bolt. And in there, oh right, paraffin wax, as in candles, which is what goes on to the moving parts to make them lubricated, or at least smooth. And finally we have a piece of sort of well, I suppose sandpaper on a piece of card or stick or something or other, which is very handy for doing your nails, just in case you do break a nail whilst you're getting bits of wood out of the box, or the rather the yes, that's it. So what I normally do, and it's become normal, which seems unusual for me anyway, to do anything which is A, normal, or B, regular, or whatever. Another sip. Right. Is actually to, this is going to be fun, isn't it? This is why I use a scalpel, because you can't do that with a pair of scissors. And we're in. Now, chuck that over there. It's all, yes, I shall have to clear it up later, but so what I do is I actually stack the pieces in their number order, because they will all be in a number, and you have to forgive me because I've just got to reach out of sight and get my specs, because I need my specs basically. All of these have, hopefully, yes they do, that is sheet F, and it's all to do, in fact, I think, with the thickness of the ply. I suspect that this is all bamboo plywood, which is fine, I have no problem with that. Curiously, I went to the men's shed today. Not something I ever thought I would do, but you know, fair enough. We have a men's shed, so I trotted along. Well, actually, let's be honest, I walked up from the town to go to the model shop, and it's actually quite steep up the main road, and when you turn off the main road, I swear it's almost sort of like 1 in 2 or 1 in 3. It's bloody steep. And by the time I got up, I mean 100 yards, I was well knackered. And there was a man who was outside what is the local men's shed. So I got talking to him, and he said, well, come down and see us, we're open on Saturday. So I did. And I was talking to the chaps there. One of them says he can get me a working copy of AutoCAD, which I am absolutely bloody delighted about. And do not, he said, do not saying about the Chinese, because the machine that they were working on was a Chinese CNC router, which means if it's a router, it doesn't just do the X and Y like the laser cutter does. It also goes up and down. It has a Z axis as well, so X, Y and Z. X goes that way, Y goes that way, and Z obviously is the third dimension. Right, okay, so we've got, where did I get to? Oh yes, I was saying, well actually, the chap then says, because my wife is Chinese and she was there, and I said, well, I wouldn't say anything, you know, much about the Chinese, because quite honestly, the stuff which they now produce is bloody good, no doubt about it. Because this is Chinese, so, and anyway, so gosh, that's a thick one. Funny enough, I was talking to them later, a little later on, just before I left, about cutting roofs, that is all the timber that goes into a roof, and explaining to them one that I had done some years ago, and I said the thing is that if it had been and I looked around and I said, if it was traditional Chinese, I said, then to be honest with you, there would have been something called a dragon beam, and the hip rafter, the actual main hip, would have, which is, how can I say, the hip rafter is actually the hip is the line up a pyramid, up the corner of a pyramid. Yeah, got it, good. I said it would have been tenoned into a dragon beam, because that's how the Chinese would do it, which in fact is the proper way to do it, and it's a sensible way to do it. And there we are. Right, okay. Having gone through all that, this is actually in alphabetical order: A, B, 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 C, D, D. Is that D? No, it's not. It's E. What's that? Oh, that's D. E, and that is G. And this little one here is F. Right, so we sorted out that little, yeah. The instructions. I haven't looked at these at all yet, obviously, but I am now doing so. So, for those of you, I must admit that the first two of these things I did was a bit scatty, and I didn't actually do really a sort of a proper job of showing you how good or bad they are. And in actual fact, they're pretty good, the instructions, which I will tell you that a few years ago I bought a siphon for a toilet cistern, and the instructions, it came from China, and the instructions were so incredible that I had never ever worked out how the bloody thing worked. However, so what we actually get is the parts list, and we got this in the others as well. Parts list. I will just move down the camera and make sure you can see this. Oh yes, yes. So this is the parts list, and we get various things. Those little orange things are shaft sleeve. They actually go on the shafts to stop the shafts falling out, really. Steel shaft here, and it says isolation column, so I don't know what that is, but we will find out in due course. Here is the screw and the nut, steel ball and a wax. So there are very few actual components to this other than the wooden ones. But we also now have, did I just kick the camera? Sorry about that. We have things like polish the parts with sandpaper, make sure the parts can rotate freely, and this sign here says the perspective has changed, so you look at the other side of it, and the exclamation mark says special attention in assembly, and ×2 is 2 pieces. Assemble the parts symmetrically, wax or lubricant needed. Right, so I am now going to look at the bottom here. Oh, we've got tools, and this actually acts as a spanner. Are we looking? Can we see? Yeah. I don't precisely know what that does, but it's also got a thing for a nut. And we come along here. Yeah, I think it's telling you how to use them. But I do have some idea how to use a spanner. Been there and done that. And we then go on the next page, which hopefully you can see, and we go into a foreign language. In fact, we go into several foreign. Do we go into? I'd say that was German. Honest. And that, I am pretty certain, Instrucciones importantes magenta para uso futuro. That's Italian, isn't it? As in una chocolado molto no, I mustn't say that. Right, so that's Italian. That is, I would say, Spanish, and I think that's the end of it. The other one had dozens of different languages, some of which I had literally no idea. well, once we get away from the sort of basic Latin based languages, you can forget it. We ain't got no idea. I can probably recognise Welsh nowadays, but nobody ever gives the instruction in Welsh. So there are all sorts of things here which we have to get. And what I actually do, if you haven't seen the other videos, what I actually do is I look down here. Again, I'm just going to shift behind the camera and make sure you can see it. I'm sorry, but I don't edit. You get whatever it is. And you can see there are the various sheets are required here, a B, C, yeah, B and C. And the various components then come out, and we go down here. These are all C as well. And then we go over here and we've got some C components here. And then we go D, D2, and there are 4 G8s, which are some horrid little things that you have to try and push through, which I've said in fact would be better if they were cocktail sticks, but I don't have any cocktail sticks. There we are. I've had a hell of a job finding piano wire, would you believe. That's for the railway. But I have to say that and I'll just show you this, if I can find it, because I've been moving things. Oh, I've been throwing rubbish over here, you see. But looky here, my dears. What I did, I needed some levers, and this will go on to a 4mm shaft, and there's a little hole there, and it pushes out just like the rest of it. Clever, isn't it? Well, I'm impressed anyway, but hey, perhaps I'm easily impressed, who knows. But very, very accurate, which, as indeed this stuff is as well. So I don't know how long we've been doing this now, but we can't go on too long. So we will just kick off with the way in which I do B4. So sheet B is this one, and then you look for B4, and B4 in fact is the main, sort of appears to be a main chassis member, and you have to just tease it out, because as they're laser cutting this, every so often it just blips off and on again, and it leaves a tiny little bit joined on, and that's why you can't get them out immediately. As you can see here, hopefully, again I shall move myself behind the camera. Can you see that? Should be able to. Yeah, there's one on the end here. Oops, there's one on the end here. Oh, disgusting looking fingernail. Anyway, so we will now remove the centre of this, which has lots of other components on it. Here we go. Gosh. Ooh. Here we are. When I first started doing this, I uploaded a video, and that was fine. And I thought, well, I'll do another video. So I tried to upload another video, and it said that's too long. Why, I wondered, was it too long? Well, it turns out that it was too long because they wanted to know who I was, which is fine, but the only thing I did was give them my phone number, and they sent through a thing with a number on it, and I filled in the number, and hey presto, there it is. Oh, you can load videos as long as you like now, which doesn't really seem to me to be very sort of security, but hey, what do I know? Okay, so we're on sheet C, which is this one, and then we have to find C1. There's two C1s, and this is where you get down to it. Sometimes you just cannot find the little buggers. C1, there we are. C1, oops, and also C2 came out at the same time, but we want C2 and we want C1 times 2. There was a second C1 and a second C2. Yep. And then a C3. C3. There we are, there's C3. And 2 C4s, well I can see them there. This is particularly easy. I'll tell you, when I did the, oh gosh, the Christmas parcel thing, which for anybody who hasn't seen it, here it is, the Christmas parcel thing, which I am not going to plug in, but there are so many pieces, it was just absolutely, almost like a nightmare. Well, I say nightmare, I mean it was just a lot of pieces to find. C4 to C9, there's C9, C11, 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 C10, C11. There we are. And C12, C12. And that's, for this particular illustration, is all the parts you have to find, which is jolly good, and you've then got to put them where they go. Starting with C1, having oriented this correctly, yes, C1s go over here. There's C1s, I've lost them. There we are, that's C1. It goes over here somewhere. Oh, there it is, it goes in that direction. And can you see me? I'll just check again. Oh yeah, that's good. You press it in through the holes. The hole, the little tenons, come here. Is that C1? No, that's C2. That's the other C1. No, it's not the other C2. That's the other C1. The little tenons are square, and the holes into which they go are oval. And what you do as you press them in, you kind of destroy the, or lock together, the curve and the sharp bit. And hey presto, there we are, that's it. So anyway, see what, C2 to go across the other side, so that's not too difficult, is it? C2's there. Oops. Yep, that's it. C2. The other C2 is there, like that. And then you've got C3. If I can find that, yes, C3. Very. Oh, no, that's not right. C3. It always has the dots. Oh, I see. Pointing to where it has to go. And then I kind of hope that I've got them the right way round. Yes, I have. And C3. Oh. Oh, well, now that is awkward. That is awkward. C3. Yes. It has an asymmetry there, and so it goes that way around. And the next one is, there are two C4s, C4, and C4s don't have an asymmetry, so they're all right. In they go. All right. Well, that went in. There's the other one. Actually, they do, because there is a slot there, and that's just a hole. Or goes into a hole, and the other bit goes into a slot. There we are. Right. and then C11. That's C11, which again bridges across right on the end here somewhere. Here, it has to be here, because this is the only place it can go. There we are. Oh look, and one in the middle. And C9, which goes, where the hell does C9 go? Oh! Well, I am now, oh, C12. C9 appears to go across here, like that. Yeah. Well, there we are, all locked in place. And C12, oops, we pushed that off, C12, which goes across here, like this. There we are. Get in there. That's it. That's it. Yep. Oh. Sometimes if these things are not exactly lined up, they bloody well won't go in. And I think that just, for some reason, which I can't make out, it does not want to go in there. And I've just broken the end off it. Okay, well, that's where we're going to, oh, I see why. Joy? Oh, yeah, okay. Right, well, that's a lesson there, which is quite interesting, because as I did that, a little bit of something fell out. One of the pieces in the slot had not come, there we are, little piece, it was still stuck in the slot and I hadn't noticed it. So anyway, we have a little bit of a problem here, which we will overcome as usual with a drop of, you got it guys, a drop of super glue, which will in fact be no trouble at all. Get in there. Sorry if you can't see this, it's just that I'm just struggling to get that in to that slot there, which shouldn't be any trouble, but it's proving to be. And there is a second piece to go in there, so I have to be careful. So I'll put a drop of super glue on that later. It does actually help with these things. I haven't previously found the super glue in use at the same time, but anyway, there we are. That's it for tonight. No more. We will go through this gradually, and there we are. Drop of pinotage goes down well. I hope everybody is suitably happy. And there we are. We will be back at it tomorrow or the next day. It depends how we get on. So thank you very much for watching.